The assassination of beloved music producer and nightlife mogul DJ Sambodi, the real name Opa Safoka, has been linked to a violent turf war within South Africa's criminal underworld, allegedly sparked by the disappearance of multi-million rand drug consignment while in police custody in KwaZulu-Natal. This revelation emerged as four suspects aged between 45 and 60 were arrested this week in connection with the 2022 execution-style murder of Safoka and his two bodyguards, Sibusiso Mokoena and Sandile Miyeza. Among the accused is prominent businessman Katiso KT Molefe. Safoka was gunned down with an AK-47 on November 20, 2022 in Woodmead, just moments after performing at News Cafe. The attack bore the hallmarks of a targeted assassination, and authorities now believe it was orchestrated by a powerful drug syndicate, furious over the resurfacing of their missing consignment in Johannesburg's club scene. According to police insiders and entertainment industry associates who spoke to Sunday World, the origins of the feud date back to a narcotics shipment that vanished from police custody in KwaZulu-Natal. The consignment later reappeared in Johannesburg, allegedly sold at cut-rate prices in local clubs, drawing the wrath of its original owners, a Fiat group only identified as the Big Five. Sources say Safoka was unintentionally caught in the crossfire while individuals in possession of the consignment sought his assistance, requesting a meeting with the Cape Town businessman during early stages of launching a new Yep Yep nightclub branch in the city. The source said it's unclear if DJ Sambodi knew what the meeting was really about. His role was simply to facilitate an introduction. However, the meeting reportedly raised red flags. The Cape Town businessman is believed to have warned the group that the Big Five were actively searching for their lost merchandise. In a desperate attempt to distance himself, he allegedly tipped off the syndicate, inadvertently sealing DJ Sambodi's fate. Although some within the syndicate saw Safoka as a clean businessman with no appetite for criminal involvement, the majority overruled appeals for mercy, placing his name on a hit list out of fear that he knew too much. Sources familiar with the investigation revealed that Safoka had received multiple warnings to leave Johannesburg. On the day of his murder, he had reportedly packed his belongings in preparation for a permanent move to Cape Town. Unlike his usual highly publicized appearances, his final performance at News Cafe was kept off social media, a detail investigators now view as significant. The tangled web of underworld activity also extends to Safoka's search for financial backing during the launch of Yep Yep Mainland in Pretoria. He is said to have initially approached a now-deceased taxi boss before ultimately partnering with the influential taxi businessman Joe Sibanyoni, also known as Joe Ferrari. Sibanyoni later hosted a party at the upscale Mercedes venue where Safoka's associate DJ Sanki Vetis Makabank posted cryptic images online with caption, "Show me your friends, I'll show you mine." Weeks later, DJ Vetis narrowly survived an assassination attempt, taking 2 bullets from a 4-shot ambush. Investigators believe that DJ Sambodi's fallout with the drug syndicate may have stemmed from broken promises. According to a source, he had initially agreed to allow drug sales at his Pretoria club in exchange for financial support, but later backtracked, offering instead to facilitate sales at the Cape Town branch. When he reneged on the deal too, the decision to eliminate him was allegedly finalized. Adding further intrigue to the case are explosive claims made by advocate Malisela Tifo during an episode of Podcast and Chill. Tifo, who previously represented suspects in the Senzombiya murder trial, accused Police Minister Bheki Cele of involvement in the illicit drug trade. He alleged that a container filled with drugs was intercepted in Durban during General Kehla Sichole's tenure as National Police Commissioner. According to Tifo, Sichole ensured the container was secured by police, but Cele allegedly orchestrated its removal. After Sichole reclaimed the shipment, Cele purportedly moved to have him dismissed, a move that was ultimately successful. As the murder trial progresses and new details emerge, DJ Sambodi's tragic death has exposed a dark undercurrent linking South Africa's entertainment industry, organized crime, and the country's most powerful institutions, a chilling reminder of the cost of proximity to secrets too dangerous to keep. The KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi opened a can of worms when he made explosive revelations implicating top-ranking officials in alleged corruption, political interference, and a deliberate effort to derail critical investigations, including those into political assassinations and unsolved matters of South African celebrities. In his press briefing, Mkhwanazi accused Police Minister Senzo Mchunu, his close associate Brian Mokgotsi, and Deputy Minister Commissioner to Crime Detection Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya of systematically undermining the South African Police Service by interfering with operations and protecting criminal syndicates, and said, "I'm ready to die for the people of South Africa. We are dealing with a deep-rooted cancer in our system. It's no longer just about political killings. It extends to silencing investigations into the matters of our public figures." At the heart of the scandal is controversial disbandment of a task team investigating political killings, a decision Mkhwanazi claims was neither sanctioned by him nor National Police Commissioner General Fanny Masemola, and said this was done without the authority of the National Commissioner and I. As a provincial commissioner, I was never informed. He disclosed that 5 of the case dockets handled by the now-defunct team included instructions for arrest, but the files were never actioned. Instead, they were inexplicably archived in Pretoria office of Lieutenant General Shadrack Sibiya, and said God knows why they were shelved. According to Mkhwanazi, the web of interference is deeply tied to a 2024 SAPS contract worth 360 million rand, awarded to service provider Vusimuzi Ket Matlala, a man now facing attempted murder charges. After his arrest, a forensic analysis of Matlala's cell phone allegedly exposed damning communications and financial links between him, Mokgotsi, and Minister Mchunu. One WhatsApp message from Mokgotsi to Matlala on January 1, 2025 reportedly reads, "I have arranged a meeting for Sibiya and the minister. They must have a solution." Another message, "The task team that came to your house and harassed you has been dissolved. They got the letter on Monday. As we speak, they are bringing all dockets to Sibiya." Further revelations suggest that Matlala, in return for securing lucrative contracts financially backed by political campaigns of both Mokgotsi and the minister, Mkhwanazi said this included payments for travel and gala dinners tied to the ANC January 8 celebrations in Cape Town. Matlala received a copy of the letter, authored by Mokgotsi, confirming the disbandment of the political killings task team the very next day. In a separate instance, Mchunu denied under oath in Parliament that Mokgotsi was an associate of his, a claim now contradicted by the emerging evidence. Mkhwanazi warned that manipulation of the police system goes far deeper. The dockets seized and hidden reportedly uncovered connections between crime syndicates and senior figures in the judiciary, prosecution, political sphere, and SAPS itself, and that this is no longer about criminals on the street. These are people in suits and uniforms who are obstructing justice. Mkhwanazi also revealed that firearms recovered in Gauteng have now been ballistically linked to the killings of several prominent South African artists dating back to 2021. While he refrained from naming the victims, he referred the murder of Grepper aka and his friend Tips as one of the few cases where progress has been made, and said, "We know who the suspects are. Arrest warrants have been requested, but the National Prosecuting Authority has yet to sign off." This failure to act stems from high-level interference aimed at protecting criminal networks tied to drug cartels. Mkhwanazi concluded with a defiant call for reform and accountability, and said, "We need to stop chasing children in Nanda and start going after the people smuggling drugs into our country and handing weapons to killers. The rot in the system will not clear itself." What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.